when I stopped knowing my mother, and we stopped feeling a closeness, an emotional resonance with each other. And here my own daughter is 12, and we're feeling, and I'm feeling that same distance, and it's like, not on my watch. This is not going to happen.
But the difference too, though, is the intensity of the difference. With your mom and you, it seems almost, I don't know how it was feeling, but it was like you almost faded apart.
Yeah.
With you and Lizzie, like you said, a werewolf. She'll change from, the moon comes out and she's in a mood within, literally within the end of one sentence to the beginning of the next.
Yes. There's a funny scene in there that I was thinking about the other day, where we had just come back from the mall, and we had a minor success at the mall. We bought a pair of shoes.
I love that, a minor success. That's a great line. Go ahead.
So we bought a pair of shoes. Great. She comes downstairs, and I'm actually sitting at the kitchen table reading a stack of books about the teen brain, which is kind of funny, and how mercurial teens are and unpredictable. So she comes and she models the shoes. Aren't they great? I love them, I love them. Yes, Lizzie, they're wonderful. She goes upstairs, and I continue reading. Maybe 3 minutes later, I hear a clump and another clump. She's throwing the shoes down the stairs, followed by her coming and saying, I hate these shoes, I can't stand these shoes, why did we ever buy these shoes? And of course, it was all her idea. And I'm speechless. And the only reason that I didn't jump into yelling at her is I'm reading these books that says, this is what's going to happen while it is happening. And so I think, okay, I will be calm, and this is just a mood. It's like a metronome. She loved the shoes, she hates the shoes, she's going to love them again. Okay, so didn't say anything, put the shoes in the mudroom, and she never wore them. About a month later, the cat threw up on them, and I threw the shoes out.
Now, you said something interesting. You read these books. You make us painfully aware, and it's kind of a mantra of the show, how difficult it is. Awareness is not even 20% of the game anymore, because you can make awarenesses, but how do you interpersonalize them? How do you make them yours? And you can see yourself, as you say, the hardest thing of all is to bite my tongue not to speak sometimes, because making the awareness and then interpersonalizing it and making it yours and living it as if there's two different things.
It is absolutely two different things, and that's why book learning can make you smart but not wise.
Now, one of the pieces of wisdom that comes out of here is and this is funny too, and I've always found it funny, slim women like yourself obsessed with weight. What did you say? The only good days are when you're exercising and not eating a baked good.
Yeah.
And if one baked good could ruin your whole life, Lizzie, though, now here's where the interesting thing is, and you could tell even in the little picture in the back and the way you describe her, comfortable with her body. She is just, doesn't have that. And again, you say, oh, thank God, at least she's not like me. I'm not like my mother. It's a good transition. But she's very comfortable.
It is so amazing and wonderful. And one of the things that I had to learn to do, and I'm still learning because I still, unfortunately, am guilty of this, is projecting that on her. Thinking that she's really not comfortable underneath her level of comfort, because I wouldn't be comfortable if this was happening to me. But I think it sports a lot, and I think that she relates to her body as this strong foundation from which she moves and she's a track athlete, and I think that that's a huge difference in her life and in the lives of a lot of girls today. It's the athletics. Using your body as opposed to your body as decoration.
And you can see she has an air of confidence about that.
Yeah, a little too much confidence about everything.
But you know something? Because of it, though, she even rescues you. And one time when you guys are doing some bicycling, I believe, tandem bicycling, one of the things that you're most proud of, I guess it was pride, or at least satisfaction of some sort, was you would never even attempt to offer your mother any advice or any way of getting out of a situation. Lizzie, no sweat, Mom, this is what you're going to do. You're going to take the pedal, you're going to move it, and you were deep inside, you felt wonderful, you could tell.
It was the greatest moment, and had it happened toward the end of all of this, that would have been the end of the book, because it was a perfect ending. She not only overcame her own exasperation and attitude. We were tandem biking, and it was the early morning. It's not a thing she wanted to do. I forced her to do it. We were having a lot of trouble. Bicycle built for two with two people that are not communicating. It's kind of like a...
It's one against one, it's not two, is
yeah.
it?
And it was really sort of like it was the essence of our relationship right there on the bike, the lack of communication. And she saw the problem, she took over, she overcame her attitude and my attitude and made it right in that moment. And it was her confidence and that momentary maturity, because that was the metronome going back and forth, and I was so astonished and so proud, and it was a terrific moment.
You talked about that communication. One thing you also make us so aware of is it's not the words, it's the subtext of the conversation, the meta messages, that's what you call it. And the kids, I don't want to say they're like dogs, but they are in one way, because they can pick up the sense. You know what I mean? You can call a dog any name, but if you say it nicely, it's going to come running to you. The kids are the same way. It's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying, how you're carrying yourself when you're saying it. It really is that subtext that they are clearly aware of, and no matter how much you try, you're not going to pull the wool over their eyes.
Absolutely. And I think that we knew that as kids, but we forgot it as adults. We knew how smart we were when we were kids. You can't fool me. I know what's going on. Don't try and paper it over. But then as adults, we forget that, and we try and run the same number on them.
Message that you leave. I want to make sure our viewers get this one. One path to a better relationship with Lissy is not my trying to change her behavior. That's not going to happen. But my changing the way I think about her behavior. So much you realized, and in fact you realized it even in the first article we met when you talked about Alzheimer's, how you cannot control everything that's out there, but you can control the little world that you're going to live in, and you're going to be able to at least make the decision how you're going to look at what's happening.
And I think that's right. And so my paradigm shift on this was realizing that those character traits that were rubbing me so raw and were making life so difficult were in fact the character traits that I admire.
One of the things you are very keen about is the difference between the generations. And I don't mean the generation gap, because it's not so much that. It's when you were growing up, it was be all you can be. The woman movement was to try to live up to a certain expectation. It was it was uplifting. It was driving and striving. But now you're seeing the pressure, because it's not only that they must attempt to be, it's now they are and can be better than everyone. They can do everything. Nothing can stop them. And that is a lot of pressure it would be on a boy, it would be on a girl. It's a lot of pressure on a young person that yes, you can be and do and have everything. Oh my God, I just want to put on a pair of shoes that I like, or so that pressure, you see how it weighs on this generation in particular.
Oh, the bar is so high. And people talk about it a little bit when they talk about kids applying to college, and how you not only now have to have the grades, but you have to have, and the extracurricular, but you have to have saved the world and gone to, fed the hungry and be beautiful and be a cheerleader and all that kind of stuff. And I think it starts much younger than that. It's not just the expectation that you're going to be great in everything. It's the bar is that high, and that's where it is. There's no under the bar. There is the bar.
Another tremendous generational gap, and I've experienced this when I was growing up. I only knew of one parent divorced. Every single one of my friends had both parents at home. You in the book, I think you said you knew 2 and 3, not even in the same neighborhood. You knew 2 and then a relative or something.
Yes.
That was it. Now 50% of every household that you're at least observing, and I remember it with my kids, they are coming from a divorced home.